On today's show,
women will never understand that men only want 4 things out of life. And ladies, I'm sorry I'm being so blunt. And guys, I'm sorry I'm giving up our secret. But all men want in life is 4 things. We want to eat, sleep, poop, and have sex. That's it.
Rob and Peter welcome stand-up comedian JoeyKola.
And ladies, if you're here tonight with a guy who's telling you anything different, he is lying to you to get to one of those 4 things.
You're listening to Rico and the Man,
The greatest show on the planet.
with Rob Traegler and Peter Martino.
In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina.
Welcome to Rico and the Man. I'm Rob Traegler, always joined by Mr. Peter Martino.
Hey, howdy, hey.
How are you, buddy?
Good. How are you? Great song. Fitting.
Fitting, yes. I'm sitting here in Carolina Beach, North Carolina, looking at the ocean as we speak.
Nice.
You would think that would be nice. You would think sitting here on the balcony looking out at the Atlantic would be so nice. And yet
But-
it's a disgusting, humid, ball sack bullshit outside.
So you pissed off Seattle, and now you're on your way to pissing off North Carolina.
No, I'm not pissing off anyone. They piss me off, Pete. They piss me off
With their weather,
with their weather and their
seasons.
hobos and their crotches.
So what's the story? How long are you there for?
Well, I'm here for 2 weeks, then I go to Savannah, Georgia for another week. But no, it's fine. I have not been outside for more than 10 minutes since I've been here because it is so humid and muggy that I cannot stand to be outside. And I grew up on the East Coast, as you know. I
That's
grew
what I
up
was gonna. That's
in
what I was
Jersey.
gonna ask. Is it worse than Jersey summers down there?
It's
More
gotta
humid?
be. It's gotta
Yeah.
be.
Well,
I
Florida's
mean,
bad.
like I
so-
said, I'm sitting here like we are literally on the beach. I'm looking at the ocean. I can if I open this door, it's like being inside God's taint on a hot summer day.
Some people would love to be inside God's taint.
You know, if I go on a run and this and that and I go do some errands, I'm driving by thousands of people on bikes and golf carts and bars and this and that.
It doesn't seem to bother them or anything.
They
just
seem fine.
They're living their best life.
They're living their best
Sweating,
life.
drinking.
Sweating, drinking, sweating. I walk out, you know, and in 2 seconds, I'm back inside.
Well, I think you should go out there and be amongst the people, be amongst the locals, and just enjoy it like they are.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
I never realized what a diva you were when it came to heat.
Oh, I'm a
and
diva.
Weather and temperature. The room must be precisely 72.1 degrees in order for me to work.
67, my friend. 67.
That low? Oh my
That
god.
low. Ask my wife. She's like, how can you sleep in this? I'm dying. I'm like, I'm sweating. Okay? Compromise.
It matches your cold heart.
You're damn right it does. But how are you? How have we haven't spoken in a week,
I know, it's
which
been
is
a while.
the
right?
usual.
We had a little Atlantic City trip that we did.
Oh, Atlantic City.
A little staycation, which you and I are familiar with.
The family.
No, just couples. We went, Steph, my wife, and I, and my siblings and their spouses. And it was great. We just went for a night, and we stayed at Ocean Resort, Casino and Resort, and we did something that I have never done in Atlantic City before, and that is going to one of their pools. I have never been because usually when you go to AC, you go for like a night. You know, it's
You
like
never see the daylight.
You
Never.
never see the daylight. Yeah, you usually go for the night and you know, get something to eat and gamble and maybe see a show, something like that. So we kind of made it a point to go earlier in the day, and we rented a cabana at Ocean. So we had our own private pools and a hot tub that we could go to with our own service and everything. So
Nice.
And I want to say that's the highlight of our trip. We would totally do something like that again. It was just nice to, and the weather was great too. It was not humid like like North Carolina. It was just a perfect temperature, like maybe early 80s, and it was cool. It was something different that we never tried before. And because I'm not a big gambler, but you know what I do love? I have to say, I do like the slot machines, specifically slot machines that are based off of movies that I like or TV shows that I like. And if you've ever been to one of these slot machines, like my favorite is Game of Thrones, because I was a huge fan of the show. So they have all these different bonus levels and everything that you could get to kind of like, extra spins or whatever, or just, a bonus round, whatever. And like you sit in the chair and it's like, I feel like I'm back sitting in a movie theater again, watching this like big blockbuster, because the sound like vibrates your chair. Like they had the fucking dragon like flying out, filling up the whole screen. And it's just awesome. And that's what I love the most. It's not even so much winning money. It's just to get to these like bonus levels on all these different slot machines so that the machine goes ape shit. And it's just such a thrilling like experience. And I love that. And, we play like the Flintstone ones. And as soon as that fucking, yabba dabba doo goes on, I feel like a giddy schoolgirl.
That's us, though. I feel like if you can make a good presentation, if there's some sort of entertainment involved, we'll get into it, Right. We'll get into the slot machines. But yeah, no, slot machines are my favorite because to me, that's not gambling. They're colorful. They're fun.
It's visual.
Like playing it's a visual game. Like I could never, ever sit at a poker table in my life.
No.
I'm not a card player. I played poker once in my life and I won.
Right.
And that's the first and last time, only because I can tell people I've never lost in poker.
Yeah.
But the last time I was in Atlantic City, I got so into the Wheel of Fortune slot machines to the point that I stopped playing and I became the carnival barker for everybody else. There was a row of people. Everyone was drunk. I was drunk. And I just was walking back and forth and being like, oh, Jose's got 200. Jose's got 200. Belinda's got 400. And I was just going up and down and like so fucking wasted. And then I sat down next to one of the people who were playing. And I don't remember how this came up, but I was like, we started talking about weed. And at the time, weed was still kind of the taboo thing. Now it's like weed. Yeah. It's like chewing gum.
It's like Tic Tacs.
Yeah. But at the time, I was like, trying to be all cool and being like, yo, you got any, And she's like, I think we could work something out. And I'm like, all right. I had to be a whole handoff, a whole coordination thing and this and that. And so she's like, what room are you in? We can do it there. And I was like, oh, perfect. I'm in room, blah, blah, blah. Her and I go up to the room and we go inside and I'm like, all right, I'm drunk, but now I'm going to get stoned. I'm like, all right, let's go. All excited and this and that. How much do I owe you? And she's like, well, first, she's like, do you have a condom? I was like, what? First of all, I've never had this kind of a transaction in my life, and I'm not about to start now with you. That was never a conversation. That was never the plan. And she was swiftly kicked out of the room.
I have never. How dare you? I'm a respectable Christian boy.
I'm a respectable woman.
Wow. Well, yeah, I didn't have that kind of story on my AC trip, but
no, yours sounds much better.
Yeah. Mine was a little bit more tame, but yeah, it was a good time. Lost some money, but you go in with a certain, well, at least I do. You go in with a certain amount and kind of say, okay, this is how much I'm going to lose. I'm not going to take anything else out. This is it.
Moderation.
Moderation.
That's how it has to be.
I got to sell one of my kids, but moderation. Yeah. Peter's Choice. A new movie starring Meryl Streep as Peter Martino.
Sharon Stone's like, I hate Peter Martino.
I know.
I can do what Peter Martino does.
Did you see that they released a new Ghostbusters trailer this week?
Again, yes.
Again. What did you think of that?
I've been so excited ever since that first teaser where they showed Ecto 1 in the, barn.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, it's going to be Jason Reitman. Who better to do a sequel to Ivan's 2 Ghostbusters movies?
Right.
Like he gets it. He was there. And after seeing this last trailer, I said, maybe that's the worst thing that could have happened.
Yeah. But I feel like it's got a different vibe to the original. Like it looks like it has a different vibe anyway.
Well,
than
that's the
original ones.
thing. I was all on board until I watched, if you go on YouTube, there's this Jason Reitman breaks down the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer.
Yeah.
And if you go watch that, it kind of puts a damper on everything.
This latest trailer, though, or was it the first teaser?
No, this latest one. This
Okay.
latest one. And I'll tell you why. Because all he talks about is honoring the original. And this shot is to honor this. And this shot is to honor that. And this moment is because this happened in the original. And this moment happened in Ghostbusters 2. And I'm like, if we're not pushing the story forward, is this just going to be Ghostbusters Easter eggs?
Right. I mean, he should be excited and proud of it by all means, but just like kind of giving us too much information and not kind of teasing it a little bit more and, promoting the shit out of it when it's still a little bit too early, I think anyway. But I'm happy they're taking it to like a small town and it's kind of has like a Stranger Things feel to it.
Does it have a Stranger Things feel because literally Finn Wolfhard is in it?
Yeah, exactly. They seem to be leaning heavily on Egon's passing too, I feel like, at least in this trailer.
Well, they're the family of Egon, which is smart.
Right.
I mean, look at the little girl. She looks like Egon.
Yeah. With that curl and everything.
The one thing that got me excited about the trailer, the one thing, was that Ray was in the shop from Ghostbusters 2 when he answered the phone.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, they're embracing 2 because there's so many fucking sequels, like thirds, that pretend like the second one didn't happen.
Right. And I feel like that's a very underrated sequel too. And
I do too.
A lot of people, including like the makers and the stars, kind of, shit on that movie a little bit. But I love that movie. In fact, I remember that movie more as a kid than I did the original one, because I actually saw that in the theater, and I was, by that time,
I watched 2 over and over again. I never watched 1 as much as I watched 2.
Same. And I still feel like I watched 2 more than I do 1.
In my museum at home, I have a giant painting of Vigo on the wall.
Dude.
Yeah.
It is Vigo! My favorite part in that is when he visits her when the lights go out. Janos.
Yeah.
And he's like, how is the baby?
And then she tries to shush him.
Yeah. He's like, oh, but I woo.
My favorite is at the end when he gets sprayed with the stuff and he's good again. He's not possessed anymore. And he's like, why am I drippings with goo?
Yes. He's a great character actor. Peter McNichol, right? Is his name. And I loved him in Addams Family Values too. He played one of the camp counselors in that movie, and I thought he was great in that.
He was in something recently that I was like, where have you been? I love you. Veep. He was in Veep.
Oh, he appeared in that?
Yeah. Have you seen Veep?
No, I still have to watch that series.
Fuck out of my life, Pete.
I'll watch that when you watch The Sopranos.
All right, deal.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I'm excited to see it. What I was going to ask you is, how much involvement does Dan Aykroyd have in this new Ghostbusters?
I hope more than the last one, because he was not happy with the last one.
No. Well, I mean, a lot of people weren't. The thing is, I didn't think the last one was that bad, and I think it had a lot of potential, but it was just edited. It was the way it was edited was so bad, and it was just so choppy, and so you could tell it was just like all over the place. But I loved the cast. I thought it had a lot of potential to be something fun and new and fresh, but it just
See, I
just
was all
all over the
about
place.
it. I was all about Girl Ghostbusters.
So
The
was
problem I had with it, the biggest problem I had with it was that it tried to create its own universe. That's what I didn't like. I felt that it would be a better story. Like I can't imagine anybody in that audience enjoying Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray and Ernie Hudson showing up as different characters.
Right.
That bugged the fuck out of me. I was like, just don't be in it.
Yeah.
You know, like it's
Yeah.
distracting. Like, you know,
Yeah,
you don't
I
want
agree.
non-Peter Venkman showing up.
Right.
And that
Yeah,
was
I
the
know.
biggest flaw to me.
I'm looking up the credits right now to see if Dan Aykroyd is in anything.
Well, I know that him and Bill Murray are in it. That much I know.
He's executive producer, and he also has a writing credit too.
Well, there you go.
And Rick Moranis is not in it, huh?
Yeah, he's in it. He gets punched in the face on the streets of New York.
by Slimer.
Poor Rick Moranis.
I know.
Like he was like literally just surfacing. He was in that like Ryan Reynolds
Right.
thing commercial.
They just announced the Honey I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah,
like,
they had
reboot.
literally just announced that, and like someone was just, I guess, got mad about that and saw him on the street. Was like, get back in your house, Moranis.
I think it was one of the marketing guys from the Honey I Shrunk the Kids reboot to try to get him back in the public eye. Get excited about the reboot.
You better shrink yourself. Well, Pete, we shouldn't waste any more time. Do you want to tell us about our special guest?
Absolutely. Our next guest has been doing stand-up comedy for 40 years. He's appeared on many shows throughout his career, including The Late Show with David Letterman, King of Queens, and has even starred in his own Comedy Central special called Comedy Central Presents JoeyKola. We are thrilled to have him on our podcast. Please welcome to the show the hilarious, the incomparable JoeyKola.
Hey, hi guys, how are you?
Hi,
Good
Joey.
to be here on Rico and the Man.
It's so good to have you on.
You're going to have other guests, but this is really going to be the best show you're ever going to do.
This is it. This is it right here. With the sound effects and everything.
Sound effects and all. I'm bringing it, man.
Joey, I miss you. I miss your face. I miss your sweater vests.
Oh, Peter, I miss you too, man. I miss the studio. It's been how many months? It's been 18 months since we were in the television studio together.
Yeah,
and you're one of the few people that has actually written for me. Like I've done, when you wrote jokes for me and I put them right into my act. That's how good a writer you are and how funny you are, man. You know, you're a good writer. So thank you for that.
I appreciate
But things are coming back slow. I'm doing stand-up now. I was doing a lot of benefits. I only did 2 Zoom shows, one for breast cancer and one for Alzheimer's here in Long Island. We raised a lot of money, but the Zoom thing doesn't work with stand-up. That's what I found out. So I turned down a lot of Zoom shows. When COVID first hit back in March 2020, I did 2 live shows from my living room. It's called JoeyKola's Comedy Club from my living room, and I got about 30,000 views on that.
Wow, that's awesome.
So that was good, but I just didn't want to do that anymore. I didn't want to use up material in that platform. So,
Sure.
but I'm happy to say the comedy clubs are coming back. My calendar is booking in. I used to host a comedy conversation with the Sopranos. They used to do like a live show, all of them, even Gandolfini and Tony Sirico and them. But now it's just Steve Sharip and Mike Imperioli and Vinny Pastore. And I go out and I do about 10, 15 minutes of stand-up. Then we show some videos of them, introduce them. Then I ask them some questions, quote from the internet on stage. We have some funny planned answers. And then and then we turn the mic over to the audience and just do a Q&A So I had 17 shows booked in Europe, Scotland, Ireland, and England last May when they all got canceled. So, and there were 3,000 seat theaters all sold out all over Europe. And then we had Canada and the United States. So I lost 45 Soprano shows. I lost all my own shows. Kevin Can Wait was shooting 10 episodes. I did 7 of those episodes in the studio here on Long Island. They paid me for 9. Netflix paid me for 9. I had my eggs in 4 different baskets, and all my baskets shut down.
How'd you fill that void when this thing first started and all the clubs just shut down? Because I know you love performing in front of a live audience, and like you said, you did the Zoom things, but they weren't really cutting it. What did you do? Did you write more? What did you do to kind of let out all
I
that
got about
creativity?
25 new bits, a bunch of stuff that I wrote down. But
Right.
you can't do it. I couldn't, you really got to get on stage and do it. And there was no stage to get on. So
Right.
what I was doing was a lot of comedians, we were calling each other. A lot of comedians are just calling each other and running bits to each other on the phone,
Yeah.
and just doing it that way. But I was shut down, man. I got a lot of work done around my house. Everything's been power washed over and over again. Power washed and sandblasted and painted, and just all of that's been done.
Right.
I changed the tube in my dryer tube, where the dryer hot air goes out to the house.
Yeah.
I changed that tube, and then we had a flood in the basement, so I had to have teams come in and deal with that. And I mean, I was just doing a lot. I keep myself busy around the house. Yeah, I raise butterflies. I feed birds.
Sure. And yeah, I know you love nature too, so that's
Love the nature. The only thing we have pets. We got 3 cats, 3 dogs, and I'm constantly cleaning up dog shit.
Yeah.
Constantly.
I went into a deep JoeyKola hole in the internet because I was so excited that you were coming on the show, and
Thanks.
the bits you do about dogs and cats is second to none, because I have 2 dogs and 5 cats.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, like, you nailed it. I mean, the just the cat sounds alone, I was like, how is this coming out of this person?
Yo, 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 yo.
Yes, exactly. I can't tell you
it always ends with a hairball going. It always ends like that.
I mean, you've been in comedy for 40 years.
41 years, 2021. I started in 1980. Yeah, and I've done, I put, I'll give it to you in a nutshell. I helped Sandler out years ago. I put him on stage for the first time. Chris Rock opened up for me a few times. I turned Kevin James who was my manager. Now it's his manager, Jeff Sussman, who also has Joe Rogan. I took Rogan under my wing for a little while when he was in New York. He came down from Boston. I know Ray Romano used to come to my house for barbecues. Rosie and I did shows together. I mean, it was one night at Governor's on Long Island here. I was emceeing, Rosie was the middle, and Jay Leno was closing. I worked with just about everybody. When Kinnison came to the East Coast, I was one of his outlaws.
Wow.
Carlin came to see me in Vegas. He called my manager, and I still got it on tape somewhere. He called my manager and said, "Hey, Jeff," meaning Jeff Sussman. He said, "Hey, Jeff, this is George Carlin. I just want to let you know I saw Joey somewhere. I heard you manage him, and I really like his shit. And could you give him my number? I'd like to talk to him." And him and I became friends for about 5 or 6 years. We used to eat together, and then had a beer and a sandwich together in the city a couple times. And when I was doing the Riviera Comedy Club, the Riviera Hotel in Vegas, he came to see me there. And it was unbelievable. I got the picture of him and I at that club. And then he invited us the next night, me and my opening act, Pete Voros from Connecticut. He invited us to Bally's out in Vegas at the Jubilee Theater. He was doing a show. He had about 800 people. He walked about 300 because he was very caustic. And I said to him after the show, I said, how do you feel when you walk people? Because him and guys like him and Bill Hicks and Kinnison, they walked a lot of people. But Carlin said to me, "Hey, at this point in my career, they know what they get. If they want to walk out, they can walk out. But they knew they would get me, So
Right.
Yeah, when you do stand up, when I do stand up, it's my show at a club. Ladies and gentlemen, JoeyKola, boom. When I'm warming up a TV show, it's not. It's Martha Stewart. It's Rosie O'Donnell. So I'm just a piece of the puzzle, and I got to be the butler, the rodeo clown, just to keep that machine moving.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Is I know you through work, and I've seen you every day, and this is how I know that you're a great comic. Is the fact that I was always used to seeing you, warming up the daytime audience. And that's a very specific type of audience. You have to work in a non-offensive, clean way. And you're entertaining, grandparents or teenagers, people that are coming to see the show. So you have to kind of tame yourself a little bit. And you were always hilarious. You were always great. And then I saw you at a late night club one time doing your regular stand-up.
Yeah.
And you were just as equally as hilarious, doing all like this dirty humor and edgier stuff. And that just goes to show what a great comic is that the fact that you could play both dirty and clean and be equally hilarious in both. So
Yeah.
What's more fun, clean or blue?
Blue, of course.
Okay, good.
Blue, it's the bigger laughs. Plus, it makes you uncomfortable. Comedy. I mean, I love Brian Regan, and Dennis Regan, and I love Gaffigan. You know, I know both of those guys really well. But to me, I always like, I used to like to watch Carlin, Richard Pryor. Richard Jenny was clean to a certain extent, but that's what made me laugh. Rodney's club act was dirty, so.
right.
I used to work Dangerfields a lot. I got a good funny story about Rodney at the bar. One time we're hanging at the bar, and me and Rodney and a bunch of other comics, and Rodney's smoking a joint, and this young cop comes in and he goes, "Hey, Rodney, put the joint down." He goes, takes a long toke off the joint. He goes, "Hey, fuck you, baby. All right, okay." He goes, "It's my joint. It's my joint. You don't like it? You can get the fuck out of my joint." Like that. And the cop goes, "I'm going to walk around the block one time. If I come back and you're sitting here with the joint, I'm taking you to jail." He goes, "Hey, fuck you, kid. I could use the publicity, okay? All right."
Who the hell's going to tell Rodney Dangerfield not to smoke a joint?
Yeah,
That's
I know, right?
God.
Yeah.
And what year was that?
He just had to be like 87, 86, like that. Maybe 88.
He was one of a kind, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Rodney. Like he got into the game late, or he got famous late, right? That was his big beef.
He had some heat. He did like the Merv Griffin show and a bunch of other shows, back in the day. And then he used to do a joke about, he goes something like, "Nobody knew I was in show business. Here's how many people knew I was in show business. When I left show business, nobody knew about it." So he was in it for a while, then he quit. And he sold cars and encyclopedias and stuff. He was a painter, I think, and then he got back into it. He only found fame at 59, that's the age I'm at now.
Wow.
So and there's always hope for me, So yeah, he one time I was working with this guy Bob Nelson. He's a friend of mine. He used to open up for Rodney a lot, and he was a headliner in his own right. He was one of Johnny Carson's favorites, and he did Rodney Dangerfield's HBO special. So we did a New England tour of like Albany, Boston, in a van. We just traveled from place to place, stayed in a hotel. But he was doing a New Haven theater. He was opening up for Rodney. And I happened to be with him, so we were all hanging out. I knew Rodney from the clubs and everything. So we get to the backstage around 5 o'clock, and it was still light out and everything. So we're eating pizza and meatball heroes and stuff from the pizzeria around the corner. So Rodney shows up and he's on this Pritikin diet where you got to eat like, celery and, cucumbers and stuff. So he goes, "Fuck this shit." He goes, "Joey, come here." And he hands me $100 bill. He goes, "Go around the corner. Tell Nunzio I need 2 clam pies. Tell him they're for Rodney, a white one and a red one." I go, "Clam pies?" He goes, "Yeah, no cheese or clams." So I walk around the corner. I hand the guy the 100, and he goes, "These are for Rodney, right?" I said, "Yeah." He makes me a white clam pie and a red clam pie. I bring them back, give Rodney the change, put it in there. Rodney backstage was never dressed. He only was naked except for a white terry cloth bathrobe. That's it. Mm-hmm. So just naked. Just picture him naked in his 70s. So his balls are on the floor and in the pizza. So he takes the pizza, folds it in half, then he folds it in quarters and starts eating it from the point, like in the middle of the pizza. He's eating it out, and it's clams. So all the clams are dripping out of it.
Oh,
and there's Rodney eating I think he ate the white one first. He ate the whole middle out of it, because when he put it back down, it unfolded, and the whole middle of the pizza was just eaten out from the middle.
Oh,
so then he washes up, gets dressed, does his show. After the show, he takes his clothes off again, naked except for the bathrobe, and then he folds the red one.
Oh my God!
And eats that one from the middle.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
What a legend,
all right, baby, all right. Clam pizza, okay, all right.
It's so funny because everyone that has a story about Rodney Dangerfield always talks about he was always naked and had his balls hanging. Yeah. Jim Carrey talks about it.
I think it was just those guys of that age, because when I took my parents, I was opening up for Soupy Sales one day out on Long Island, out in Quogue, a club called Laughs, and there was no like real backstage area. It was just like a big room where they keep the beer, you know.
Yeah.
So after the show, I said, Soupy, can I bring my parents back here to meet you? Sure. So sure enough, I grabbed my parents. I run back there, and he's naked except for a G-string, right? And it's got a big like red satin, almost like a toucan thing right over his crotch.
Yeah.
And he was naked, but he didn't even have the bathrobe. He just had the G-string on, Soupy Sales.
It's more like droopy sales.
I said, Soupy, can you just throw something over yourself? Can you just throw something? You got anything? He goes, hold on, let me put my pants on. So like in front of my parents, he's putting his pants on, putting his jacket back on and his shirt. I go, can you put his shirt on or something?
Joey, has Bill Cosby ever drugged and raped you?
Well, you want to talk about that? He actually did that. Me and Rodney. I never met him. I was in his no, I was never even in his presence, to be honest with you.
You're lucky.
But that would have been a story, huh?
Yeah, no. We just went off on a rant on Bill Cosby in one of our previous episodes when he was released, and I think he's an asshole. I think he's a complete asshole. And with me, he wouldn't have needed the drugs. He just could have probably got me with chocolate. A jar of Nutella. That's all it takes.
I just wrote a joke the other day. I said, man, this disease sucks. This virus sucks. I can't drink Corona. I can't fly Delta. If they make a Hershey variant, I'm screwed.
That's perfect.
Having been in the comic industry, the comedy business for as long as you have, I cannot imagine what it's like right now with all this cancel culture shit that's going on, because I feel like the comedy world should be immune, for lack of a better term, to that. Like, what do you think about all this stuff? Like, you can you still get on stage and say the shit that's actually on your mind? Or are you too afraid?
I've been asked this question a lot, and I have a different answer than everybody else that I know. Because everybody wants to battle it. And they want to go, I'm not, all the so-called tough comedians are like, I'm not changing my shit. There's enough right-wing people out there that are going to buy my shit. Blah, 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 blah. Right. Well, here's the bottom line. Soon, comedy clubs are going to be filled with people that are, quote, woke. The younger people, my kids' age, 28, younger, they're going to be woke audiences. Not just in Brooklyn hipster clubs now. They're going to be filling up comedy clubs. And if you're on stage and you're an old man chanting Archie Bunker bullshit, you're not going to get booked again because they're not going to laugh.
Right.
So you have to write material that's going to make these people laugh. And if it means being PC, then you got to be PC. You got to change. You got to be a chameleon. You got to change to make that audience laugh. So many comedians are like, yeah, you got it. So many comedians are saying like, I can't believe you're not laughing. I can't say this. I can't say the N word. I can't say this word. I can't say that word. No, you can't. Yeah. You can't. You can't do gay jokes. You got to be sensitive to your audience. The bottom line is when they leave that club, you want them to be happy. You want them to say, man, I really enjoyed that guy. He made me laugh. He didn't offend me. We laughed together. We had fun together. Like the guy on stage and myself had fun together. And that's what I want, whether it's a TV audience or a club audience. I want the audience to leave going, man, you really made me feel good. You took my mind off my cancer. You took my mind off my mother dying. You took my mind off of whatever it was. And you didn't make me feel uncomfortable by doing political stuff or stuff that's too racy. I get blue, but I bring it to the edge and I bring it back. Right. It's harmless. I'm a harmless little angry guy, when I do that. So you got to, soon the world is going to be PC. So you got to be able to change with it,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, I think if you're smart enough and you're talented enough, you can still be blue without offending a single person in that audience.
That's right. When I do stand-up, I don't do anything political. I don't do anything that's going to make fun of anybody except my brother-in-laws. I call them assholes in my because they're my brother-in-laws. But I turn it inward. All my comedy is inward. I'm fat. I'm this. I'm that. Peter wrote me Peter wrote me a great joke about my wife said, Pete, jump in if you remember. My wife said she wanted me to start bicycling, and the helmet, you got to fall. It's only half a helmet, so you got to fall directly on top of your head for that to work. And I said, "Have you seen how tight the bicycle outfits are?" The line was, "My wife and my daughter actually pepper sprayed themselves, so they didn't have to see me wearing that tight bicycle outfit."
Have you ever flirted with the dark side of the comedy life?
Yeah, I got chased by a car full of skinheads in Louisville, Kentucky.
No.
I was working with a comic named Gavin Jerome from Iowa, who was actually Jewish. And after the show, we walked across the street to a restaurant to get something to eat. And it was early; it was like 11:30, and we're staying in a condo complex, not a hotel. And it was like 2 blocks away. So we were walking towards where the condo was, and I see this white Chevy convertible with swastikas on it, and these guys got bats, and they're yelling like Jews and the N-word and everything.
Oh my
And
God.
they look at us and they go, "There's 2 right now." I hear it from up the block. It was like, still and dark, and everything echoed. So these guys hit the gas, and they're about 3 blocks away, 2 blocks away. So I look at this guy I'm with, and I go, "We got to run." He goes, "No, we don't." I go, "Dude, I'm from New York. We got to run, dude. We got to run. We got to run back to the complex, the apartment that they got us in." So sure enough, these guys come running, flying down. They hit the brakes. We run like a half a block away. We run through a backyard and then jump the fence, another backyard. We get to the apartment complex. We go up in there, second floor, shut the door, slam the door, lights off, lay down low. And they came up into the apartment complex looking for us, like warriors.
Jesus.
Warriors, come out and play, yay! Like that movie.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And the next day I told the club owner, Barry Sobel, who's actually Jewish, and he goes, that's just like Jethro and his friends. They do that all the time. They're just kidding around. I said, yeah, well, I want you to call the police. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I got a million stories like that, man. Of being on the road. I used to do cruise ships, and one time they flew me into Port Lacaya. And one cruise ship dropped me off at Port Lacaya in the Bahamas, and then I had to get on a plane to fly to Nassau to pick up another ship. So I get on, and I got to do an afternoon show. So it's the late '80s. I got a purple double-breasted shoulder padded jacket on with a wild colored tie on, a white shirt, black pleated pants, and patent leather black shoes. My hair's all greased up. I'm ready to go on stage, and I'm on a like a little cargo plane that's flying from Port Lacaya to Nassau. Me and 30 Bahamian nationals, and the guy next to me, he's got a live chicken on his lap. So I'm like, oh my God, if we go down, we're just dead. I mean, I'm just dead. And half the plane was luggage, and the other half was people, and they had to weigh it out. It was the weirdest thing. So we get off the plane, it lands, and of course there's no ramp to come out to the door. You got to walk down those stairs. So I walk down the stairs, and I hear behind me like that. The guy had just grabbed the chicken and spun it around and killed it right behind me.
Oh my God! Why?
Yeah, yeah. He asked they were going to eat it, and he started taking the feathers out of it right on the runway.
Oh God!
I was never insatiable. Like I never wanted to be a big star. I tried. I mean, I was supposed to be in that movie Fools Rush In with Matthew Perry, and he fired me from the movie. So, and I found out on the radio. I was in L.A. working on The King of Queens, and I had a bit part in it because I was out there. Kevin wanted to put me in it. But when I was I've been to L.A. a few times with an audition at the Improv and stuff. So this director comes in. His name is Andy Tennant, and he sees me. And he says, I need your information. I think I was with William Morris at the time and Jeff Sussman. I need your information. I want you to do a movie. I said, okay, great. He called Jeff and everything. And so we set it up to where the movie is Fools Rush In with Matthew Perry.
And Selma Hayek. Don't forget Selma Hayek, my friend.
Yeah. He goes, I want you to play the second lead. I said, sure. So let's start the audition process. He sent me the sides, and he flew me back and forth to Vegas to read with Matthew Perry a few times. And the director pretty much said, you got the part, no problem, you're it. So I was all set to, become a star and be in this movie. And I'm in my backyard one day. And remember Rocky Allen on WPLJ, Rocky Allen and Blaine?
Yeah, it sounds familiar. Yeah.
They had like the afternoon drive time show. It was a comedy show. They played some music, but it was like a very popular show. And I was friends with those guys. So I'm in my shed one day in my backyard piddling around, and I got the radio on. and they got Matthew Perry on by phone, right? So Rocky Allen says to Matthew Perry, "Hey, I heard you're doing a new movie called Fools Rush In because our buddy JoeyKola is going to be a co-star." And with that, Matthew Perry says, "No, he's not. He's just fired." So
Oh,
I heard I was
come
fired.
on.
I heard I was fired with like 20 million other people in the tri-state area. Yes,
that's
I called my
heartbreaking.
manager right away. He calls William Morris and everything. He said, "Yeah, Matthew Perry doesn't want him in there because his good friend John Tenney, Terry Hatcher, he was married to Terry Hatcher. Terry
Yeah.
Hatcher just divorced him, and he needs the money, and it's his good friend, so he's knocking Joey out and putting him in. So he put John
Wow.
Tenney in that role. He also knocked out a bunch of other actors to put his father in the show in the movie and a bunch of other friends in the movie. And it was his movie, so you couldn't say anything. So they put me in another scene, and then that scene got cut out. But every once in a while, I'll get a residual for like 46 cents.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I feel like you dodged a bullet because everyone remembers the classic Fools Rush In with Matthew Perry.
Yeah, right.
His big breakthrough movie role.
Yes.
Who are some of the young comics that you admire today? Is there anyone up and coming that
I like Mark Normand. I like Gary Goldman is not young, but I love Gary Goldman. Who else? Nate Bargatze is good. There's a few here and there. I like all comedy. I watch the Borscht Belt guys. Rest in peace, Jackie Mason, as well as I watch the new guys.
right.
Guys and girls. So I love it all. I love it all. I mean, anybody that's going to make you laugh, I give them a shot.
Yeah. I mean, Rob and I both agree. Like, funny is funny, right, Rob? No matter if it's like 50 years old or if it's
Well, funny, you hit the nail on the head, Pete. Funny is funny, and I feel like there's so many people who had their moment of white hot sensation, like Eddie Murphy, and the Dane Cook, these guys who play these huge things, and then they just disappear from that stand-up stage.
Yeah, well, you can make a lot of money quick, and then there's a lot of stand-up comedians that are afraid of fame. They love, I made my living 200 seats, a low ceiling, a mic, and a light. I worked clubs like that all over the country my whole career, and that's the best way. The intimate club, is the perfect thing. Then a lot of them are doing theaters now and arenas and this and that. I mean, you lose the ambiance of it, but that's the way I made my living, and those are the people that I admire most. The ones that can go into a small club and really bang out a set to make those smaller audiences laugh and then make a career out of it.
Right.
When people ask me who my idols are, that really helped me, I say, three Richies and a Dom. Richie Minervini, who's a great comic. He opens up for Kevin now, and he owned the East Side Comedy Club on Long Island. He's a mentor of mine. Richie Minervini, Rich Jenny, Richard Pryor, and Dom Irera. And, him and I run bits and stuff on the phone, and he's 70 now, But whenever you hear like the original Italian material, like Anthony Rodia is doing it now, and Sebastian's got a lot of heat and stuff, but that all originated with Dom Irera. Dom Irera is the original guy.
He's appeared on the roast too recently.
Yeah,
too.
He's been on the roast.
He lives at the Laugh Factory on Sunset. I mean, every time I've ever gone to see a show at the Laugh Factory, he's in the lineup somewhere. But Richard Jenny, what the fuck happened there?
Yeah.
What the fuck happened there?
He blew his brains out. He was on a couple different things, I guess, to help him sleep. I don't know the whole story, but he took me under his wing for a while. Fellow Brooklyn guy, because we all came up at I'm a Long Island guy, but I went to Brooklyn. I was with a few Long Island guys that also worked Brooklyn, Jersey, the city, and I was the house MC at Pips for many, many years. For at least 3 years. So then Jenny went on the road, and he took me with him, and he took whenever he did the tri-state, when it was Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Jersey, he took me with him, and I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot. The only thing I learned from Richie was that a bit is never finished. That's what he always told me. Like no one could squeeze more punchlines out of one premise than Rich and Jenny. And that's another guy that you should Google besides Dom Herrera. Watching Richard Jenny, I mean, he did more HBO specials. Platypus Man is genius. He did more sets at the Montreal Comedy Festival than any other comedian. I mean, when he was at Montreal, it was like when you were with him, it was like you were with Elvis or you with God. You were just walking around and women were throwing themselves at him, and people, restaurant owners, come eat my food, drink this, take this, here's money. People just throw money at him, tip him. It was just insane. He would, and he taught me about cadence also. When you watch a comic, there's a formula that goes through. Like my formula is set up. Like I'll hit a premise, I'll set something up, and then I'll hit it with a punchline, try to get 2 punchlines out of it, and then I'll tag it. You throw tags on the end to get that last residual laugh. So my style is basically set up, punch, punch, tag, tag, like that. But you'll see comics that set up punchline, set up punchline, set up punchline, or set up punchline tag, set up punchline tag, like that. You'll see if you analyze comedians, they each have their style. Like Gaffigan is another like Jenny. He'll hit his whale bit, his whale and manatee bit. I mean, he'll start the premise, punchline, and he'll tag it 10 times. He'll just throw tags, which is like a one sentence or a one word thing behind the punchline that the punchline usually starts the roll. If you can start a roll on your first punchline, that's great. But if you can do set up punchline, and then the second punchline starts a roll, and then you tag it. Now you're on a roll. If you can continue that roll into your next premise, if that next premise has to do with the previous premise, then you're on a roll where you're getting a belly laugh. And Gaffigan and Rich Jenny were masters at it.
Yeah, it's a lot in the delivery too, and whatnot. And I think Gaffigan just has that voice and that delivery that just makes people laugh immediately.
And you got to use all the tools in your arsenal. Like I use I do a head move. I use my eyes, my face, my sounds. My hands, my legs. I bend my knees. Like JoeyKola, when he came to see me at the Riviera, I was taking punchlines to the side. So he said to me, he goes, "Why'd you take that punchline to the side of the audience?" I said, "I don't know. I was just walking that way, I guess." And he goes, "No, you got to take your punchline straight out. You got to bring them straight out." So I did that. And he goes, "You should bend your knees a little bit to drive the point home because you already got your hands going. So bend your knees, drive the point home, do the voice inflection, and say the joke. And I think it'll work better." And he was dead on right, to the point where about 3-4 years ago, I'm doing a club called the Crescent Club on Bayville on Long Island, North Shore. It's like a catering hall, and there's a restaurant downstairs, and De Niro was there shooting the movie Comedian. And his coach was Jessica Curson, who's a good friend of mine. She's a female comic from here on Long Island.
Funny. She's very funny.
Very funny. And she runs up. I'm doing a benefit upstairs, and she's downstairs coaching De Niro in the movie. And there was movie trailers everywhere and everything. So she comes upstairs, and it was before I went on. She goes, "Hey, Joey." I say, "Hey, Jess, what are you doing?" She goes, "I'm coaching De Niro downstairs. We're in between scenes." She goes, "Are you going on tonight?" I said, "Yeah." So she goes, "Oh, my God, I got to bring him up to see you." So she goes down. The MC goes on. The middle guy goes on. And then the MC brings me up. And sure enough, there's De Niro standing in the back of the room. And he's watching me and I got 200 people in front of me, but he's in the back of the room, and I'm doing my act directly to him. I don't even care about the 200 people that are in the room. I'm doing it right to him. So I did an hour. The first 20 minutes, he watched me. He left for the middle 20 minutes, and he came back at the end of my act, and I closed it out. So they were doing raffles and stuff on the stage, so the people in the audience didn't look back and see De Niro. He was still in the dark. So I ran to the back of the room, and he goes, "You mind if I ask you some questions?" I said, "No." He goes, why do you bend your knees like that? And why did you say this like this? And why did you do this? And I was honest with him. I said, JoeyKola told me to take the punchline straight out, bend my knees, and use my right hand. My left hand's holding the mic, use my right hand to make a point, and it always drives a punchline home harder. So De Niro was really interested in the mechanics like that. And then he told Jessica to say thank you to me for helping him out with that. So
that's awesome.
I was able to help De Niro out a little bit, I guess.
And I understood you helped him out in Little Fockers as well. Is that true, Joey? Where will you be appearing coming up?
I'll be at Uncle Vinny's in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, October 8 and 9.
There you go.
Oh, right my birthday.
Your birthday?
October 8th.
Oh,
Nice.
I know what
I'm
we're
the
doing.
19th.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, Uncle Vinny's in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. I'll be there October 8th and 9th.
If anyone hasn't seen JoeyKola do stand-up live, I encourage you, especially in this day and age where we can all use a laugh, to please go see him. He is hilarious.
Thank you. And I won't offend anybody either with politics or any of that crap.
Well, you offend me on a daily basis, but that's a different story. Thank you so much, Joey, for being on our little podcast. We appreciate it.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
You got it. Great to talk to you guys. Peter, we'll talk again soon. Rob, great to meet you. And I can't wait to do this again. You guys are blessed.
Wow. He's awesome, huh?
So great. Love him. Great, great guy. Great comedian. Great everything.
We'll have to have him back on soon.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He has so many stories.
But for now, I'm Rob Tregler, always joined by Mr. Peter Martino.
That's right.
That's right. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Rico and the Man. We want to hear from you. Send us an email at ricomanpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at Rico and the Man, and on Instagram at Rico and the Man Pod. Don't bother following us on Facebook, because Facebook is an awful place in the darkest corners of humanity.